Good morning and happy Tuesday. It is time for Coffee with Karma. And today you can actually read my mug because I had mirroring turned on, which I thought would reverse the video so you could read my mug. And apparently, no, it actually turned the video backwards. So I turned it off and now you can actually read my mug. Coffee with Karma. Yay. Good morning. I'm a little low key because I've only had about 3 hours sleep. I'm tired. But I took a risk. And in today's Coffee with Karma, I'm going to invite you to take some risks too. Because did you know that being risk averse can actually destroy the chances of your book doing well? It can even cause your business not to do well. Hi, I'm Carma Spence. Yeah, I'll say that. Hi. Hi, I'm Carma Spence, and I help entrepreneurs write lead-generating books in 90 days or less. And in this video, I'm going to share with you 3 tips or ways or strategies or methods of how you can use risk to write a better book and grow your business. So, the first place is in your writing. Are you playing it too safe in your writing? And what I mean by this is, are you doing what everyone else is doing? Are you staying inside the box? And I mean, I've been hearing this a lot about, oh, you got to be disruptive, you got to zig when other people zag. And yes, you want to do that, but you want to do that strategically. But I understand also that it's really hard for people sometimes to understand what does being disruptive mean and how do I take that risk in a way that I know will be helpful to me. So I'm going to give you an exercise of what you can do to stretch your writing muscles. And you may not publish what the results of this experiment, but by doing it, by doing the exercise, you stretch your risk-taking muscles even a little bit so that you're better able to see what that zig is when other people are zagging, to be that disruptive, stop the scroll kind of content creator. So one way you can experiment is to write about contrary topics. So I'm going to do something really bland here. Let's say you live in a world where everybody says stools have 3 legs. You write about a 4-legged stool. What? It's like the Dr. Seuss story about the Starbelly Sneetches. They all wanted to have stars upon theirs. Well, if you're the first person to get a star upon your unstarred belly, all of a sudden everyone's going to be following you. So experiment with the topics you read about. Another way is to experiment with styles. Now, this is something I do a lot. I mean, I have my own style and I have my own genre that I tend to write in, but I've experimented in other genres. I actually have a short story buried in a hard drive somewhere of erotica I wrote. It's crappy. It's really crappy, but it stretched my muscles in writing something that I was uncomfortable writing about. And that's made me stronger and able to write more powerful things because I tried this experiment. I'll never do that again. I will experiment again, but I'm not going to write erotic again. It was awful, but it stretched my muscles. And another way you can do is experiment with new ways of saying things. And then this is an exercise that's in a book. I can't think of the name of it. I can see the cover in my head, but I can't think of the name of it. But what you do is pick a term and then write every euphemism for that term. You can, like, I think the example she gave is male and female. What are all the different words for female? What are all the different words for male? And there are a lot. But you could also, like, what are different words for snow, winter, time? Just write them all down. And what that does is it stretches your ability to come up with metaphors. So that's writing. To get your writing to be extraordinary rather than ordinary. The other way you can take risks that is actually would behoove you to do is in your marketing. Keep on top of the latest marketing trends and try them out. Not all of them will work for you. I mean, and I've said this before, but book marketing is a buffet. And the buffet keeps getting new dishes added to it like every year. So try them out. I mean, like when TikTok came out, try TikTok. I'm sure there will be other platforms coming out that will come and go. I mean, do you remember Clubhouse? And although MySpace still exists, does anybody really use it outside of the music world now? And I'm not even sure they use it there very much. I don't know. I don't know how it's doing. But I actually still have an account there because I opened one when it first came out. Anyway, so experiment with digital marketing practices, community building. Now, there's one that I have been experimenting with because I really want to build a community around the author switch. I really do, because I think it can really help people. But I've struggled with what's the messaging that will draw the people that I need to serve to that community. So experiment with community building and experiment with collaboration. Collaborate with others who serve the same market, but in a different way. And tip number 3, and this is not how to take a risk, this is how to handle risks. Because when you take a risk, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And that's when you just need to fail forward. The reason why I pause is because I'm trying to think of what John's last name is. And I'm not coming up with it. But anyway, you want to keep that mindset that you're going to take risks, and sometimes it'll work and sometimes it won't. And that's okay. That's okay. What you do is you figure out, why did it not work? How can I improve it so that I can take a similar risk again, but have it work better? And that's another thing. Sometimes it'll kind of work, but not kind of work. It's like somewhere in between. And for example, when I came out with the second edition of Home Sweet Homepage, that turned into a risk and experiment, because the first book, the original book, did really well. It did really well, but it was no longer serving my business. So, and it had my former married name on there, and I don't want that married. I still have to republish some other books that have that name on it. And because I want to be known as Carma Spence, not Carma Spence, the name that shall not be named. And so I decided to come out with the second edition of Home Sweet Homepage. And I did a full rewrite. I mean, I used the same content, and then I added new information. I took out information that was no longer relevant. I added new information that was relevant. And what was interesting is that one of the biggest reviews I got on it was, you can find this stuff out on Google, or nobody does that anymore. And I'm like, well, the reason why I left it in is because people are still doing it. You may not see it. You may not see it in your world, but believe me, I'm seeing it. That's why I left it in there. So, and I was experimenting with having a course be the lead magnet that people, and no one has signed up for it. I spent days, hours of my time. I created videos. I created worksheets. I created an entire course that expands on the concepts of the book. It's probably worth $300. And I was going to give it away, and I'm giving it away for free to anyone who buys Home Sweet Homepage second edition. No one has taken me up on that offer. Not one. Talk about taking a risk and falling flat on my face. Yikes, that was painful. So now I'm like pulling content from there and using it elsewhere because it was good stuff, really good stuff. But there you go. And what did I do with that? What did I do with that risk that became a failure? I learned from it. I learned what did I do wrong and how can I do better with my next book? And in fact, that is one of the reasons why I'm going to be releasing a book a month in 2024. I want to fail fast and learn fast. I want to have each book next year do better than the book before because I learned something. Like I learned something from January's book and I applied it to February or March's book, and iterative. That's one of the experiments I'm doing next year with these 12 books. The other is to see, I hear this thing, like if you put out a book every month, it increases the Amazon algorithm and now all your books sell. I'm doing an experiment to see if that works. I've also heard that if you have a lot of books in your portfolio on Amazon, you can actually get your monthly royalties up to where, it's paying the rent or something, So these are experiments I'm doing by doing this grand experiment. And if it works, I'll just continue. And if it doesn't work, I'll find out why and fix it. Maybe in 2025, I'll still be doing one a month, or maybe I'll do one every other month, or maybe I'll do one every 3 months. And I'll experiment with the cadence to see what is the rhythm that works for me and my audience. As an author, you need to be putting on the mantle of a scientist and experiment with your writing, experiment with your marketing. And you will find your cadence, your methodologies, your strategies that work. And then every year, take a look at them and do it again. Because times, they are changing, and that means your writing and your marketing will probably change along with them. So that's it for today's Coffee with Carma. If you are ready to write your lead generating book, drop an emoji or a comment below, and I will send you a link to my quick start guide for writing an authority building short book. And tomorrow I will be back and talking about the power of cross promotion. Woo! So, ciao for now.